Hello, my honeys. I'm Kamara with the Black Dove Oracle. Welcome to my brand new channel. And on this pick a card, we're going to go in a different direction. Maybe something that's a little bit more lighthearted, maybe something that is just for inquiring minds. But we are going to do a pick a card on the talk about you. It could be the talk, the gossip, the tea. Just to kind of get a sense. You may or may not even care what other people are saying, but this reading is just going to give you a little insight, perhaps. And we also know that whatever people are talking about may not be true, so keep that in mind as well. Also, this is a collective reading, so just take what resonates out of all of this. And if you are coming back here for another reading, thank you so much for your support of this brand new channel. I really appreciate it. And if this is your first time here, I would really appreciate at the end of the reading if you resonated with anything I said, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up. It just helps me to grow this brand new channel, and it's a very simple way to support this work that I'm doing and offering up to the community, so I appreciate you. If you like the way that I read, you may also want to subscribe to the channel. Click the bell so that you get notified when I upload new readings. But for now, let's go back to this pick a card. What are people talking about when it comes to you? What is the tea? So you may have chosen these groups from the artwork at the beginning of the reading, which is timestamped below. Or you may want to choose from one of these three cards. Or you may want to use some kind of numerology. Whatever it is that you use to choose your groups, you are welcome to do it. You're welcome to watch one group, two groups, or all groups. Yeah, and I've put out lately, I don't know if anyone's seen it yet, some guided imagery. There's guided imagery at the end of the Lunar New Year reading, and there's a separate guided imagery that I loaded up that's putting you in contact with your cosmic ancestors. So please take a listen and let me know what you think of those readings. I plan to do more content that's just more than reading tarot, even though I love these pick-a cards and giving you all the messages. There's more that I want to share. So thanks again for joining me here. Let's go to your card choices. So group number 1, your card choice is Darkness Falls. Group number 2, you have 2 cards actually. One is Wool and the other one is Witch's Rosary. That's group number 2. And group number 3 is Shapeshifting. So take a moment, reflect on these groups in any way that you would like to choose your pile, and then go to the timestamps below to access your reading. And thank you so much again for joining me here. Take care. Hello, my name is Kamara, and this is the Black Dove Oracle. I want to welcome you here for your pick a card reading, and you are choosing group number 1. You may have chosen this group from the artwork that's at the beginning of this video, but you could have chosen the card that I'm about to turn over, or some kind of numerology. Whatever way you've picked your group number 1, this is your reading. So let's see. What is the talk about you? What are people talking about? What is the gossip? And so group number 1, the card that you chose first is Darkness Falls. It says here on the card, within you lives the hidden, the things that want nothing more than to swallow you whole. That's pretty intense energy, group number 1. You know what I'm going to say here, group number one, is that I think you may have some friends, some family members, people close to you that feel like you are going through the dark night of the shadow. They feel, is that the dark night of the shadow? I don't know why I said it that way. Dark night of the soul, I think, is what it is. But that's kind of interesting. Dark night of the shadow. That seems like a lot of shadowy work. And that could be the case, group number one. But I think you have some people concerned about the way that you're handling some challenge in your life right now. A lot of this card is talking about facing our demons, taking responsibility for mistakes, or, accepting the blame in something. I think there may be a couple of camps here, group number one. You have some people who really think you should accept responsibility for something, an issue, a complaint. While there's other people who are saying they see where you acknowledge your faults, because I think you are a very honest person, group number one. But I think it seems like you're in some kind of rupture where some people want you to take the blame. They want you to take the responsibility, to be accountable. While I think on your side, you feel as if you're not sure you're the total one to blame. And I think here what people are kind of talking about is the sense that you don't always see your blind spots. Now, again, we know this is just people's talk, so it doesn't have to be accurate, group number one. But there's something here about a recent situation in which there is blame happening. And I think you're a person who in the past, people are kind of saying in the past you would have been a pushover. You would have just even apologized profusely a number of times without something ever being your fault. But there's something about the growth that you're experiencing lately that I hear that people are talking about. And for some people, they see it as confidence. They see it as finally you're over your people pleasing and you are really going to stand up for yourself. That's what some people are saying. There's other people who are saying, oh, now you just think all the most about yourself and you really do need to take responsibility for something. So I'm seeing in some ways there is a binary happening. And right now, it seems like this binary, this issue, it's putting you in a real shadowy place, group number one. Some people are saying that you're kind of withdrawing, that you may feel as if you're going up against a losing battle. And I really do sense that the people around you, the ones who care, they're really wanting to help you resolve the situation because they see how frustrating it is for you. They see how dismantling it is. Maybe you've been really activated lately over whatever this issue is, group number one. But the people around you, they do see how it's impacting you. It could be a problem. It could be an issue. This is a collective reading, so I won't get too detailed on like what it's about. But the people around you are seeing how it's impacting you, group number one. Let's go to your other cards. You have Revelation's Call, which again is kind of one of these cards that it talks about you being kind of like flipped upside down. This card in this particular deck could resemble the Tower moment. So there's some kind of disruption. And there's people around you who really, I think the people who really see you, group number one, are feeling as if you're going through something that they want to help you with. And maybe I get for some of you, maybe not all of you, this is a situation where you feel like it's so complex and at the same time so easy. That kind of paradox where you're like, I don't want to sit here and explain this to someone about my viewpoint and my take on something. And I just feel like it's putting you in a position of where you're feeling like you've got to isolate, like you've got to pull back. You've got to like hold your own. But there's so many supporters around you, group number one. Maybe sometimes you don't see it, but there is. Look at that. You've got the Fool card. You've got a blank card. And you've got the Beggar. It says for the Beggar, confronts empowerment at the level of physical survival, awaits the spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and self-esteem. On the shadow part, there's dependence on others to the exclusion of effort. You also have a mystery card here. The Fool card, it says, fearlessly revealing emotion, helping people laugh at absurdity and hypocrisy. And then it says in the shadow, using humor to wound rather than liberate, denial of your emotional truth. Group number one, there are people around you who feel as if you have kept up a good sense of humor around all of this. Some of you could be being called out on social media. I don't know why that's coming up randomly, but there is something here about you just wanting to ride the wave of this particular intense moment. And I think the people around you are just concerned that you're not sharing your actual feelings with them, and that, you know, that maybe you're hurt or more frustrated than you're showing. Because this card is just saying they feel like they can't see everything, or they feel like you're not telling them everything. With the Beggar, I think what people see in you, group number one, is someone who is going to make it through. Regardless of what someone's trying to do, who's trying to come after you, you're going to make it through. You're going to persevere. I also feel that there are some people who feel like you're just relying too much on your supporters and not really coming clean with something that could be your fault. It's kind of a weird situation, group number one. It's something where I think you're still kind of looking at yourself and seeing if things really are yours to blame. So you may be in that process, or some of you may have decided, no, I'm not apologizing for anything. And there's some of you who are deciding, I might have had some misstep in some of this. Let's see what else are they saying. Eight of Wands. Yeah. Whatever it is, you have some people angry. You have some people mad. And in a way, I think all of this, all of what it's done is just kind of like made you feel battered going through some kind of process. You may be even in some kind of mediation process, but I really do feel that you're going to stick it out. I really feel like there's a sense of you just going with bravery and courage, group number one. As all these people, you have the Five of Wands here. Yeah. There's just like a lot of conflict around. And whether or not you're trying to remain in it or step out of it, there's just people around you. There's a little bit of a rumor mill. So sorry, group number one. I mean, I think this is very specific, so you'll know if this is your group because there's just a little bit of talk happening. That could be at work or with the people who are involved with this particular situation. Yeah, Six of Swords. I mean, it is putting you through some mental rumination. I'm definitely going to say that, group number one. But I think what you are being shown and what I feel like I keep hearing from Spirit is these are people's opinions. You have the elephant here. A long journey, either physical or mental, will leave you wiser in the end. I truly do believe that. Your ancestors, group number one, are saying that this may take some time to untangle, to come to a resolution, but in the end, you're going to learn some very valuable lessons. If not about the people that you have been working with or surrounding yourself with, it's going to really show you who your friends are, who your supporters are, versus who is not. Funnel. There is a period of frustration, lessons to be learned. Again, I think your guides are saying this is going to be a learning lesson, school of hard knocks. But once you get it, group number one, you're through it. I think the people around you, they're going to continue to point the finger. That's what I'm getting. And who is it going to land on? We don't know. But the caterpillar here is saying things are not always going to be this rough. Group number one, you're not going to be continuously under the gaze of these people. Spirit is saying it will get better. Yes, look at that victory. If it isn't your fault, whatever this is, if it isn't you that needs to take accountability, I really get the serious belief, group number one, that it's going to literally be something where you're going to be proven publicly. You are going to be proven right. That's what Spirit is saying. So hold on. There's all these people talking about who's to blame about what, or who needs to do what. Spirit is saying, in the end, if you are not to blame, you are publicly going to be absolved. Very cool. I'm happy for you, group number one. But I understand how that can be nerve-wracking, dealing with a lot of personalities and a lot of emotions. So if you resonated with any of this reading, please consider giving me a thumbs up. It's a brand new channel, and I would love your support. If I already have your support, thank you so much for watching another reading, and I love reading your comments, so please feel free to comment below. If you like the way that I read and decide you want more, you want to stay connected, please consider subscribing to this channel, clicking the bell so that you get notified when I upload new readings, which is like once or twice a week. Thank you so much for your support, group number one. Take care. Hello, group number two. This is Kamara with the Black Dove Oracle, and this is your pick a card reading on what is the talk about you. Now, this could be what is the gossip about you, like what people are talking about, perceiving. Know that this is more of a lighthearted, short reading, but know that these are people's opinions. They aren't necessarily the truth. And we're reading for a collective, so only take what resonates. And if none of it resonates, none of it resonates. But let's see what people are talking about, group number two. You have Witch's Rosary. It says here, craft your skills with intention, repeated, A practice of magic has powered by purpose. And it also, you got the wool card. It says you are woven with an embrace of protected love and familiarity of finally being home. You know, group number 2, I think many people are witnessing you right now honing your magical skills, honing your psychic skills. I assume even if you're watching this reading, you're interested in the occult, you're interested in the mysteries, you're interested in, spiritual growth. So the witch's rosary, I think there are some people talking about how you are now in your witch era. You're in your spiritualist era. You are connecting with your guides and your ancestors. You're working on rituals. You may even have a little familiar right now. If you don't know what a familiar is, it's like an animal guide. I see this owl here. Let me show it to you. I see this owl here on the branch, and it's just talking about you getting deeper into your spiritual practice. Some of you people are talking about how you're doing rituals, how you're doing spells. But in a sense, I think people are also witnessing that this is where you belong. This is finally a way that you feel at home in yourself, group number 2. They are witnessing a growth inside of you, a calm, a peace. Some of you may be much more creative lately. You're just kind of doing your own thing. And I think people are talking about how you may not be calling them anymore. You may not be going out like you used to. Your interests have changed. You're about growth, inner peace, calm. I feel like we could be friends, group number 2. Like, you don't mind being alone. You'd rather focus on new hobbies. And there's something about just trusting yourself now. Many people are talking about how you've become more confident lately. You trust your intuition. Before, you may have explained a whole bunch of stuff around your spirituality. Now you don't explain. You kind of just are. Group number 2, like you are the thing. Not like, oh, I might be a witch, I might be a spiritualist, I might be a psychic medium. You're kind of like convinced that you are now, like you are that thing. And in that, you find a certain kind of belonging in yourself. Maybe for some of you, people have said that in your earlier years, you weren't guided as much. Like, you didn't know who you are. You weren't connected to that part of yourself. And when you became connected to your spirituality, however it shows up, group number 1, I'm group number 2, so group number 1 might have something for you, but group number 2, it doesn't really matter how you do your rituals, your spirituality, your magic. It's more that the result is this homecoming for you, this inner peace, this inner wisdom that you have come to. Let's go to your oracle cards. Set these up a little bit. Oracle card, the rising. The rising is about moving into a period of clarity and purpose. So again, we have this wool card that's kind of giving us that image here, right? Group number 2. The rising 2 is about how you're setting intentions in your life. It's kind of equates to the strength card, really, in this deck. You're focusing on small changes. Some people, they really are talking about how you have been doing things in such an incremental way that before they knew it, they looked up and you were already in the position you had dreamed or visioned about doing. There's a way in which people are watching you have fantastic results with manifestation. They see how you're weaving your life together. It's almost as if you stepped into this power and you just took control of your life, group number 2. And people are seeing how you're just continuously succeeding at life now. You may have been a person in the past who seemed a little aimless, who was a little codependent, just really didn't have their own grounding and footing in life. And you've grown so much, group number 2, that people are seeing that even if they had to complain or they had some kind of opinion about your spiritual practices, they really can't, because they see that the ultimate outcome is your balance, your temperance, your inner peace. Let's see how else they're seeing you. Attic. This is interesting because group number 2, some people may be talking about your recovery and how in that recovery process you discovered your spirituality, you discovered your psychic power, whatever it is. I think some people remember the old you, right? The addict in the shadow, which is someone who compromises their integrity, their honesty, who has addictive patterns that they couldn't control. That was perhaps the old you. I mean, it's not everyone in the reading, but they saw you, if it wasn't substance, group number 2, it was being addicted to a relationship, or, like a toxic relationship, or being kind of like, they saw you addicted to working. You could have been like just a workaholic. Whatever it was, they saw you identify the problem, and then they saw you turn towards your own spirituality. Some people are even crediting your witchcraft to a total life turnaround. Teacher. It says here in a positive attribute, ability to communicate knowledge, experience, skills, and wisdom. The shadow is manipulating, abusing students, teaching negative traits and destructive skills. I think now people are looking and talking about you. They're looking at your life journey and they're saying, gosh, I could really learn from group number 2. You may have people around you who are watching you, group number 2, as a model, as someone to look towards in terms of changing their own life, especially if they're trying to overcome some addiction. They see you as a life teacher, someone they can really look to and be like, listen, how did you do this? How, some of you may come from a background that was really poor, or a family system that was really chaotic. And, in that chaotic family system, you lived in a neighborhood that may had a neighborhood community chaotic system. And I think that people are seeing that you were able to extract yourself out of certain energies. And they really admire you, group number 2. Yeah, there's, I think every group may have gotten one of these blank cards, because there's just, if you're connected with me as a reader, one of my philosophies is do the work quietly and announce it later. And I think that is a philosophy of yours, group number 2. You don't show everybody your progress. You don't show, process. You show them your progress. So it's like they don't see every day you having to be disciplined and discerning and making decisions that are different from the ones you may have previously made. But group number 2, what they are seeing is the result. And what Spirit is saying is that eventually the result is going to appear as if your life was always like that. And that is how you know that you've done some really good healing work, group number 2. When people think, wow, their life is so easy, their life is so successful. I wish my life was like that, but they don't understand all of the work that it took, the sacrifice literally, to bring your life to the place where it is now. Right, group number 2? What else are people saying? 9 of Wands. They are seeing you as a winner, someone who's gone through a lot, someone who's been wounded in the process, but also someone who is so grounded, so firm in their inner being, so connected. They really do see the spiritual light upon you. Group number 2. What else? 6 of Wands. You have people literally cheering for you behind your back, group number 2. The ones who have known you through your process. They're like, wow. Have you seen group number 2 lately? Healthy, confident, beautiful, shining, radiant. You see how there's just like 2 beings here? It's almost like it's not the twin effect necessarily. It's like the 2 parts of you, the 2 versions of you, group number 2. You have so many people proud of you, celebrating you. Look at that. Yeah, 3 of Cups. Some of you have some really dear friends or family members, community members who are just so proud and full of love for you right now because of the work you've been doing, because of how you have literally healed yourself. That's what I'm hearing. Like, people are saying, this is someone who's healed themselves. Now, you might have gone to therapy, you might have done a lot of self-help and self-care things, but this is people really quite literally saying, you healed yourself. I mean, something about this Wool card too, you all. Sorry for all the messy card setup. Something else about the Wool card is about self-care, taking it seriously. And I think that is what you've been doing, group number 2. And in all of this, you are modeling to your family, friends, community, how life is not just one narrative. You can change your life tomorrow. You can change your life for the better. And you do it all in service of a healthy system, a healthy nervous system. And I think you've learned that secret, group number 2. See what the tea leaves are saying. Opportunities, it says, are waiting for you. May. Bo, you're highly thought of. Look, you're highly thought of. If you had any questions of whether or not you had supporters, best friends, loves, you do, group number 2. And people are seeing how hard you work. They're seeing the trajectory. They're now seeing the results of all of the hard work. Some of it you may not have shown to them, but they're seeing someone different, someone stronger, someone, really confident standing in front of them on their own 2 feet. They also see someone who's really dedicated to taking care of themselves, being in their peace. And they see that as the result of quite literally having a beautiful, powerful, strong spiritual practice. And again, it can be whatever practice it doesn't have to be witchcraft. It could be, a certain religion. but they see that your spirituality has made a difference in your life, your practices, your commitment. It's made a difference. Congratulations, group number 2. For some of you, this is a recovery story. For others of you, this is simply about getting back to being healthy. If you have resonated with any of this reading, would you mind giving me a thumbs up? And if you like the way that I read, would you consider subscribing to the channel, clicking the bell so that you get notified when I upload a new reading, which is usually once or twice a week. And if this is where we part, group number 2, thank you for letting me be your reader. I really do congratulate you. There's so much positive energy out there with your name on it. Take care. Bye. Hello, group number 3. This is Kamara with the Black Dove Oracle, and this is your pick a card for group number 3. Now, you may have chosen with the artwork that's at the beginning of this reading, or you may have chosen with numbers and numerology, or you may have chosen with this card here that says shape shifting. So this is a reading about what is the talk about you, what is the gossip about you, what are people saying, but also know what people are saying may not be factual. So always take everything with a grain of salt, but let's see what they're talking about when it comes to you, group number 3. Immediately, I think people are noticing a change in you, group number 3. It says with the shape-shifting card, transformation is not the loss of what once was. It is the evolution of a more powerful self. Quite literally, for some of you, the talk is how you have suddenly become more authentic. There are people close to you, group number 3, who feel like this mask. Some of you, the people around you are saying that you used to be a little bit more animated, kind of just happy-go-lucky, never really showing your emotions, really, not really sharing the full spectrum of yourself. And in many ways, some people thought, it's really hard to know group number 3. They seem to wear a mask all the time. But if you look in this picture, the mask is coming off. The mask is being moved and revealing you, group number 3, the real you under there. But there's also some people who are talking about how shape-shifting, how that is actually a powerful trait of yours. Like you're able to go into different areas, different communities, different meetings with different folks, and you are able to you're able to blend. You're able to fit in most environments, conversations with people. So people do see you as someone who can go into who knows a lot of different people, can go into different situations that are different from your life and still be okay. You may have a job like that, like some kind of job that requires for you to, meet with opposing parties, like a lawyer or a mediator or a judge. But you could also be someone who works in different kind of stakeholder groups, like you are actually advising people, helping people to have good conversation. So for some of you, there's some aspect of your work that might be like that. Maybe you do union talks. I don't know. But in that group number 3, people are saying that you're highly skilled at that. But I think on a more personal level, people are starting to see you more. They're starting to understand you more. Like what your feelings are, what your opinions are. Even for some of you, like maybe you don't always talk about politics, but you just started talking about politics. Maybe you are one of those people who are really trying to put it out, get the news out there about the different genocides that are happening globally, that, you know, really in this country, we could be more active in addressing our government's involvement with some of these things. So you might be having conversations like that with people. I'm kind of hearing people are like, oh, did you hear, you know, like group number 3 is, you know, doing this campaign, being an activist for this organization. So I think you have people talking about you in that way too. Like, dang, I didn't know this was important to group number 3, but they are out there. They are, you know, being a voice for people who can't, at the moment, defend themselves. Land of Oz. What are people saying about you, group number 3? What is the talk? The land of Oz always seems like this like mystical place. It always seems like this place where we have dreams of a place, but then in actual reality, we're actually in that dream. Let me see. I think Spirit is kind of giving me a couple examples here, but one would be the example of someone saying, well, you know, when I die, I'm going to go to heaven. But there's some people who are like, no, heaven is right here on earth. And I think that's what people are starting to kind of talk about you. How do I want to say this? I don't know why I'm tongue-tied right now. Maybe some of these people don't want you to know that they're talking about you, group number 3. But I think what they are saying here is that you're not waiting for life to happen. You are making it happen. I think some of these changes, the Land of Oz could also talk about how things are stagnant and then all of a sudden there's action. And there's a way in which for you, there may have been some kind of dream that you were hanging on to that people are saying they're glad you moved away or shifted something in your life because it allowed for you to be more of yourself, group number 3. There's somebody close to you who's talking about how you allowed something to kind of drift away. That could have been a relationship. It could have been a job, a project, whatever it is. You allowed something to go. You just released it and let it go. And group number 3, someone is saying they're just really proud of the change that you made. You saw that you were heading towards a really deep waterfall, and there was some kind of action you took to make it so that you're still doing well. I don't know. I'm just kind of hearing that in peripheral. Like someone is really glad you decided to change something or let something go. You decide where it resonates. We have the Warrior card here. A lot of people like your strength, group number 3. They really, I mean, I know this might sound corny, but you're a hero for some people. You really are. Like, you're my hero. I don't know why I'm hearing that, but there's some way in which you speak out. I'm hearing that they're saying that you know how to get underneath the issue. You know how to bring people out of corners where they're hiding their opinions and putting everything on the table. It's a very warrior kind of energy that you have. You refuse to be made small or be treated like you're irrelevant. I think there's like people are saying here that you refuse to be the victim. If there's things happening in your life, like someone has a disagreement with you, check out group number 1. If someone is trying to blame you for something. There's something about the victim card. You're not playing it. Group number 3. You will shift out of a situation that's trying to make you the victim, that's trying to keep you pigeonholed. And look, there's that mystery card again. Every group had one of these mystery cards. I think people around you are also say you will let them know on the need to know basis. Everything is on the need to know. That's like my father my OG dad, he used to say that all the time. I'd be like, why didn't you tell me that? He's like, it's on the need to know. And I think I'm hearing his voice say that in your reading group number 3, because you're kind of one of these people. You're like, you're not going to put all your business out in the street. And also, you don't tell information to people that you feel can't handle it. That's very interesting. But that's what people are saying. Group number 3. What else are they saying? Knight of Pentacles. Some of you have a ship coming in. You've been working really hard. You're waiting on some funds, some material thing. If it's not money, you may have ordered something that's really expensive and you're waiting for it to come. Again, there's that Strength card. A lot of people admire how you navigate this world. It's almost as if you don't have to sit there and put your hands in the jaw of the lion, which the traditional cards kind of depict. You're here working your magic on the lion while the lion's in total bliss and inner peace. So there's something there about the way that you even work, group number 3, that I think the people that work with you say, you know, even the most difficult situations, you can subdue it. Like you have the power to talk, be diplomatic. That's the word I was looking for, diplomatic. There's a way in which you go in and you solve the problem, but you can do that and have everyone listen to you. People are saying that's a really powerful skill of yours. Group number 3. 4 Swords. A lot of people feel that you are very thoughtful. You are not going to do things in a real shady way, or, you know, like you're not about the hokey doke. You're going to go and research. You're going to put thought into things. You're going to be very methodical. And people like that about you. They know that whatever you are saying or whatever your opinions are, they're highly researched. They're backed by facts. That's what I'm getting. Backed by facts. November could be Spirit is saying here that November could end up something in last November kind of proved that point. You have Dragon here. Beware of self-delusion. I think people really, you have the yoke here, which is says feeling tied down or frustrated. I feel for many people when they are talking about you, group number 3, I think they often are saying that you work better alone, even though you are doing work that is centered around people in a community. At your core, you work better alone. There's something about how you have a certain process. And when you get back into what it is that you need to do, that process makes sense only to you. It's kind of weird. Like people let you work alone. You may be in some kind of profession where people normally work with a partner or normally work with quite a few people, you know, they're supported by someone. And I get that even if you could have an assistant, you don't have one. There's something about you working alone and liking that. That is what people are saying. They're also saying that whatever changes you've gone through lately, group number 3, they have been for the better. They see and sense that you are more happy. So that is what people are kind of saying around you. Group number 3, just good things, some random thoughts. They don't know everything. So if you resonate with any of this reading, do you mind giving me a thumbs up? And if you like the way that I read, please, and want to stay connected, please subscribe. And when you subscribe, if you hit that bell, you'll get notified when I upload a new reading. If this is where we part group number 3, I think you're thought of quite highly. And thank you for taking a listen. And I hope that we reconnect soon. Take care.